Have you ever lost an old friend and felt like a piece of your heart went with them? As we grow older, friendships aren't just people we know, they become part of who we are. They hold our memories, our routines, our laughter, and even our quiet moments. So when one of those friends passes away, it doesn't just leave a gap in our calendar, it leaves a silence in our soul. And yet, no one really teaches you how to grieve as you age. No one tells you what to do first. But sooner or later, we all have to learn. That's why this video might be one of the most important you've watched in a long time. Today, we're going to explore 6 wise, deeply healing steps that many older adults take when a beloved friend dies. These steps aren't complicated, but they are powerful, and they've helped so many people like you find peace without forgetting. You'll learn how one small act can bring surprising relief to a heavy heart, why writing something you never said out loud can be the key to healing, and how a simple weekly ritual can make your friend feel closer than ever. These aren't just ideas, they're life-changing habits. So let me ask you, if this opening touched something inside you, if it reminded you of someone, you're not alone. Please take a moment to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share in the comments the name of a friend you still hold close. Your words could be exactly what someone else needs to see today. Because grief is not about forgetting. It's about finding ways to carry love forward, gently and intentionally. And that's exactly where we begin. Step 1. The courage to let yourself feel everything, even when the world tells you to stay strong. 1. Allow yourself to grieve, fully and without judgment. No one teaches you how to grieve when you're older. You're expected to be composed, strong, even stoic, especially if you've lived through decades of life. But here's the truth I've seen over and over again, both professionally and personally. Grief doesn't get easier with age, it gets deeper. And the first wise step after losing a dear friend is this. Allow yourself to feel the pain, fully and without judgment. Grief is not a sign of weakness, it is living proof of love. It's easy to fall into the trap of distraction, keeping busy, playing brave, or telling yourself, I shouldn't cry. But when you do that, you're not protecting yourself, you're just postponing a storm that needs to pass through. I once worked with a gentleman in his 70s who had lost his fishing buddy of 40 years. He stayed quiet for weeks, pushing through life on autopilot, until one day, he went back to the lake where they used to fish, sat alone on the dock, and let the tears fall without apology. He later told me it was the first time the pain felt human. Because when you stop fighting grief and simply sit with it, something powerful happens, it begins to soften. You stop drowning in it and start floating with it. Let yourself cry. Talk to their memory. Sit in silence. Whatever you do, don't bury the ache. Instead, give it space. Give grief a seat at the table. Because only then can healing begin, not by pushing past your pain, but by walking with it. And as you do, you'll find that the sorrow, once unbearable, becomes a sacred reminder of how deeply you loved, and still do. Now that we've opened the door to feeling, let's take the next step in healing, reaching out to others who love them too, and discovering how shared grief can become shared strength. 2. Reach out to others who love them too. Grief has a strange way of making the world feel smaller. When someone we love passes, especially a longtime friend, it can feel like no one else could possibly understand the exact shape of your loss. But here's something I've witnessed time and time again working with older adults. You are rarely grieving alone. Somewhere out there, someone else is also missing their laugh, their stories, their presence. Are you holding your grief alone? You don't have to. Reaching out to people who knew and loved your friend can transform sorrow into connection. Call an old classmate. Invite a mutual friend for coffee. Even sending a message to their family can spark a moment of healing for both of you. When you share memories, inside jokes, or even sit in quiet tears together, something powerful happens. The weight of grief gets distributed. It doesn't vanish, but it no longer feels unbearable. I remember Eleanor, a 77-year-old woman who had lost her childhood friend, Betty. Instead of retreating into silence, she invited a few classmates to meet at the diner they used to love. They laughed, cried, and remembered Betty, not just as someone who had passed, but as someone who had lived. Eleanor told me later, it didn't take the pain away, but it wrapped it in warmth I didn't expect. That is the magic of shared grief. It turns isolation into solidarity. It reminds you that your friend touched many lives, and that those lives can still touch yours. So, if you're feeling alone in your sorrow, reach out. Even one conversation can lighten your spirit more than you think. And if this spoke to your heart, leave a comment below with the initials of someone you're missing. You never know who else might be feeling the same. Now that you've opened the door to connection, let's explore the next healing step, expressing what was left unsaid. through a letter only your heart can write. 3. Write a letter to the friend who passed. Sometimes the hardest part of losing a close friend isn't what was said, it's what was left unsaid. The thank yous. The I'm proud of yous. The small, ordinary, I miss you moments that now echo in silence. That's why one of the most healing things you can do is also one of the simplest. Write them a letter. And I don't mean a message typed on a phone. I mean a real, handwritten letter, ink to paper, heart to hand. It's something I often encourage my older clients to try, especially when their grief feels locked inside. Because putting your thoughts into words, even if no one else ever reads them, gives shape to what feels overwhelming. There are things we all wish we had said. What's stopping you from saying them now? A letter becomes a safe place to release gratitude, regrets, memories, or just everyday moments you still want to share. One man I knew, Harold, 81, had lost his neighbor and fishing companion of nearly 30 years. A few weeks after the funeral, he sat at his kitchen table and wrote a note about how the tomatoes were coming in, how quiet the mornings felt without their talks, and how much he missed the steady rhythm of their friendship. He folded the letter and placed it inside his old tackle box. He told me it didn't erase the loss, but it made the silence feel less empty. That's the quiet power of writing. It turns swirling emotions into something you can see, hold, and eventually heal through. Don't worry about grammar or punctuation. This letter is not for anyone else. It's for you and for them. So let me ask you, what would you say if they were sitting right beside you right now? Write it down. Let your hand speak what your heart still carries. And if this resonates with you, share just one word in the comments that you'd put at the top of your letter. It might be dear friend or simply their name. Because from here, we begin to honor them not only through words, but through daily acts of remembrance. Let's move forward into the next step, creating a gentle ritual that keeps their presence close, day by day. 4. Create a gentle ritual or tribute. After someone we love passes, the world doesn't feel quite right. The rhythm of daily life gets thrown off. You reach for the phone on Sunday morning out of habit, and then remember they're gone. That moment, the stillness, the pause, that's where many older adults I've worked with begin something deeply healing, a gentle ritual or tribute. It doesn't have to be elaborate. In fact, the most powerful rituals are often the smallest. Lighting a candle in the evening, playing a song you both loved, watering a plant they once gave you, even sitting on the same bench where you used to talk. These tiny acts create a sense of connection, not to the grief, but to the love that remains. Do you have a small ritual that keeps someone's memory alive? It might seem insignificant, but these are the threads that hold memory and meaning together. One woman I worked with, Joyce, age 70, had a best friend named Martha who called her every Sunday morning without fail. After Martha passed, Joyce kept sitting on her front porch every Sunday, coffee in hand, same time as always. She didn't expect a call. She simply sat, felt the breeze, and spoke to Martha in her heart. She told me, "It brings me comfort, and strangely, clarity." Researchers in grief and resilience have shown that personal rituals like these give structure to sorrow. They give our love a place to go. Grief needs movement, but not all movement is loud. Some of it is as quiet as lighting a candle or whispering a name. If this speaks to you, leave a comment below with a ritual you've done or one you might start. You may inspire someone else who's still searching for a way to feel close again. Because now, we're not just remembering, we're living with intention. And that leads us to the next step, caring for the one person who still needs you every day, yourself. 5. Take care of your physical and emotional health. In the days and weeks after losing someone dear, your body often grieves just as much as your heart does, but in quieter ways. Food loses its flavor. Sleep becomes a stranger. You forget to stretch, to walk, to drink water. It's as if your routine, like your emotions, has crumbled. But here's something I say often to older adults navigating loss. Taking care of yourself during grief isn't selfish, it's survival. I know it's easy to ignore your needs when your heart is heavy, but grief is a heavy load, and if you don't nourish the body carrying it, the weight becomes unbearable. Have you eaten today? That simple question can be more important than you think. I once worked with Walter, a 79-year-old man who lost his best friend of 50 years. In the weeks following the funeral, he stopped eating breakfast, stayed up until 3 a.m., skipped his daily walks. He thought he was just tired. But one afternoon, he fainted in his kitchen. That moment was a wake-up call, not just for his body, but for his soul. With his family's help, Walter slowly rebuilt his rhythm. Oatmeal in the morning, stretching in the sunlight, a walk around the block before dinner. He didn't stop missing his friend, but the fog of grief began to lift. Because grief doesn't mean you stop living. It means you need to live more gently for a while. Rest, even when your mind races. Eat, even when food seems tasteless. Move, even if it's just a few steps to the window. Your health is not separate from your healing, it's the foundation. And when you care for your body, you're also honoring the friend who would have wanted to see you well. If this part of the journey speaks to you, share in the comments one small thing you'll do today just for you. A glass of water. A healthy meal. A walk in the sun. Now, as you begin to strengthen from the inside out, let's turn to the final step, reflecting on how your friend shaped your life and how their legacy can quietly live on through you. 6. Reflect on how your friend shaped your life. Some losses leave an emptiness so deep, no words can reach it. But grief doesn't only ask us to feel pain, it invites us to reflect on something quietly powerful. What did this person leave behind in me? When an old friend passes, wise older adults don't just mourn the absence. They pause to consider the presence that still remains. What parts of you carry their laughter, their kindness, their way of seeing the world? This step isn't about moving on. It's about moving forward with meaning. In grief counseling, we call this a continuing bond, the idea that love and influence don't end when someone dies. They live on in the way we think, act, speak, and choose. I once knew a woman named Joan, age 76, who lost her best friend Sylvia, a woman who had always encouraged her to be more adventurous. A few weeks after Sylvia's passing, Joan enrolled in a pottery class. It was something they talked about for years but never got around to. She told me, "Every time I sit at that wheel, I feel like Sylvia is still with me, cheering me on, laughing at my wobbly bowls." That's the beauty of honoring a friend's legacy. You don't have to hold on to sorrow to keep them close. You can carry forward their spirit by living the values they inspired in you. So I ask you, what lesson did they teach you? What light did they add to your life, and how can you reflect that light now? Even the smallest gesture, a kind word to a stranger, a brave new choice, a return to something you once loved can become a tribute. If this resonates, comment below with one quality your friend brought out in you. Courage? Joy? Patience? Your answer may become someone else's guidepost. Because grief doesn't erase the relationship, it transforms it. And now, as we bring this journey to a close, let's return to the truth we've been circling all along, that friendship never ends, it just changes form. Let's reflect on what this all means in our final thoughts. So now, as we come to the end of this journey together, take a moment to breathe. Let the stillness settle. Let your heart speak quietly to you. Which of these 6 steps spoke to you the most? Which one felt like it was written just for the space you're in right now? The truth is, when a friend dies, it doesn't end the relationship, it transforms it. Their physical presence may be gone, but their influence, their laughter, their lessons, they live on in you. Every time you remember their words, every time you do something brave because they once believed in you, every time you pass on a kindness they showed you, you're continuing their story. Grief doesn't ask you to forget. It asks you to carry love forward, with tenderness, not with regret. And that, my friend, is something only you can do. Each step you take from here, whether it's allowing yourself to cry, reaching out to an old friend, writing that letter, lighting a candle, taking a walk, or signing up for a new adventure in their name, becomes part of a sacred bridge between the life you shared and the life you're still building. Loss carves space in us, but that space isn't just emptiness. It becomes a home for growth, gratitude, and strength we didn't know we had. And if this video has offered even one gentle moment of comfort or clarity, I invite you to share something you've learned in the comments below. Tell us what step you'll try or how you plan to honor the friend who shaped your life. Speech balloon your words may be exactly what another grieving heart needs to hear. And if this message has touched you, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who may be quietly carrying a loss of their own. Because healing is not a solo path, and we're walking it together. Thank you for being here. We'll see you in the next video with more stories, more strength, and more ways to keep the ones we love close, even as life moves forward.